I think the covering was kind of birthed out of our heart for family, and then our heart for those that struggle, whether that is with addiction or whatever the life struggle is. And the Lord just helped us kind of marry it together when we recognized the importance of family in recovery.
SWAT had hit my house. The wake-up call was when I was in the interrogation room. I hit my knees. And when I went to jail, I was just like, Lord, this is a dream. I need help. And he said, you need to get up and you need to move. Then I can help you. And that's when I met Jenny and Delbert.
I was just very lonely and depressed and suicidal a lot. There was just nobody for me to turn to and stuff.
You know, whether it was drugs, whether it was men, whether it was gambling, whether it was, things, I didn't know what I was looking for. My darkness got me to the point where I became suicidal. It's like such a pivotal point in my life, standing on a bridge after a storm when the river was flooded and I was just going to walk into that river and just be done with it.
My darkness, it was deep. It was homelessness. It was not being a mother. It was honestly it's like when you're in a room and you're around so many people and you just feel so alone. And like you want people to understand. And sometimes they do and sometimes they don't.
Never wanting to really live. Didn't really want the next day to come. Dreading the future, dreading the next days. Always feeling alone and just really depressed and which made me just run to everything but the Lord.
Being on drugs since I was a kid, you're surrounded by people, but yet you're still super alone. A lot of anxiety and depression comes from that as well, and then trying to be a mom at the same time, and then thinking at the time that I was still a good mom, but if I'm looking back now, I was actually probably like the worst mom ever.
Coming to a program, we're all addicts. We all got a story. We've all hung out with rough people, done rough stuff. There's nothing, we're just all trying to get it right,
When I fell, I didn't get what I was looking for. The high wasn't even the same. That high wasn't the same. I felt different. And I knew it had to do with the Lord. And he was like telling me, this is what you wanted? And no, but I didn't want this. I thought I wanted it. I looked around. I said, no, I got to leave. I got to get out of here. Because I see like my life pass in front of my eyes. I don't want to die. I don't want to end up back where I started from. And that was all the Lord did that. Because I couldn't do it on my own. He was inside, like he was letting me know, talking to me. Like I could feel him. Like, even though I fell in the pit, and God lifted me out the pit, I got disciplined and I got blessed. He did all that for me. He forgave me. He forgave me.
So when we think about, not just our generation serving and doing and for the Lord, but it's now the second generation that is serving and doing. So these ladies that were, lived very dark lives and everything else are now working jobs. They are now Sunday school teachers. They're substitute Sunday school teachers. They work on the media, in the church. They're just doing for the Lord. They go to speak at different places, homeless places and all this kind of stuff. They're serving. They're doing exactly what the scripture says.
Since the Lord saved me, I've found somebody I can turn to and stuff. Well, it's not as lonely, and I'm getting closer to my family again. And he's like taught me to trust the people around me and stuff. And so like even like here, I have a family.
You know, like there's an unspoken respect, I guess, maybe in the house. I don't know, but it became like a who am I sitting beside kind of respect. You know, like how are you here? You know, how'd you get here? How'd you make it? You know, and then you're staying and the Lord's working in your life and he's redeeming the life of your son. And I see the transformation in Tyrese. It's incredible. And then I get to work alongside you and I just enjoy it. I enjoy your friendship. I enjoy living with you and watching you love people. And you've came through stuff that I wouldn't have made it through.
It was maybe 4 or 5 months in when the Lord really started to break down my pride. And I just remember like just crying out to the Lord one night and just like pouring my heart out, you know, and just really just like crying, you know. And after that, I just felt like his presence, you know, like his peace. And I knew that, first of all, his peace and his presence was real. You know, it wasn't just something that people talk about. But then also, like, he cares when you cry out to him. You know, like, he hears your prayers.
I'll never forget when his presence entered that room. I'll never forget that, because he met me where I was at that point. That was the day I was saved. It wasn't the day on the bridge. It wasn't the day, you know, when I raised my hand in the church. It wasn't the day I said the sinner's prayer. I was saved that day in that bedroom. He's shown me what it means to walk in freedom and forgiveness. I mean, my heart just overflows with gratitude to him for saving me out of that.
It isn't the ministry that's the change factor. We love what we do, we love the ministry, we love our home, and we love the people, but none of that is the change factor. And because we recognize that it's Jesus, that we can do all that we can do, we can create the best curriculums, we can have homes that are full of loving people, but if Jesus does not change a woman's heart, then she will inevitably slide back into where she was.
I would say that's really what made the difference for me, is allowing the Lord to change your heart and like continue to just surrender it to him, you know, instead of trying to take control of it.
I'm so glad you're my friend. The Lord is he's really good. You guys are a great family. And if it wasn't for the Lord, I'm telling you, I wouldn't be sitting here. None of us would. None of us would. So I'm grateful for these ladies.
Marilyn, I've seen her shine in leadership. And the scripture comes to mind, do whatever you do, do unto the Lord. And I'm like, she's really like going for it. Like, I love watching you with the women, and your growth since you came, it's been amazing. Like, you don't miss a beat. And if you do, you get right back up.
I sat here and watched her as she grew this past year, that she changed so much. Kids, oh man, kids is the love of her life. I mean, she would be a good mother if she ever had. She just got this love for people and kids. And in the world, it's hard to find good teachers, you know what I'm saying? With your kid, to trust them with your kids. I would trust her with my life. Really. I really love you.
I love you. Leave me alone.
We would love to be able to come to your church. We'd love to come and share, just to bring awareness. These ladies are ladies that live in your communities. You know, these kids are kids that live in your communities and go to your schools, you know. So it's not just a thing that's happening in Circleville. It's a thing that's happening all around us.
God has a purpose for each woman. This isn't just, hey, get you out to this neutral place. He wants to take these women out and place them in what he's called them to do. And the truth is we all need purpose.
Yes.
We all need purpose. I want to challenge or encourage the churches that to be on the lookout, if that's a right word, in your churches, because in your churches, I'm confident there are women that are looking for something. They may be trying relationships, they may be trying drugs, whatever it is, they're looking for something. We want to be the somewhere where they can come while they're looking for that something, because we want to be that home where they can find the someone that they're really looking for, which is Jesus.